Hey, we're the Flick Chicks.
I'm Anne.
And I'm Monica.
And this is the show where we watch The Kissing Booth, and then we watch the second one, and this is what happened. Blah, blah, blah. If you've watched the movie, it makes a lot of sense.
Oh my goodness.
That's how the intro started.
That just made me so annoyed right now.
I just wanted to, get the vibe going, just have a little montage.
Yeah, if you can't tell already, we are doing a review for The Kissing Booth 2, but I feel like just The Kissing Booth series in general,
yes.
kind of, because, both of us have not finished watching the first Kissing Booth movie before this, so we both had to go and rewatch it.
Yeah.
So I guess
I
we're
watched
giving
it
a
in
review.
2 parts. I had finished it before.
Oh, you did.
But yes, it was.
I didn't. I got like 30 minutes in and then I gave up. So it was a very difficult process getting
That's
through
hilarious.
both of these movies.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess we'll just jump right into it. As usual, we'll give our recap. I feel like a lot of people probably think that like our recap is literally just telling the plot, but we also intertwine some of our thoughts while going through the plot. So I would recommend listening to our recaps.
For sure.
Because it's hard to recap the plot without like being like, oh my god, this part was so freaking annoying.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what we're gonna do.
It's basically us reliving the best moments or whatever. Yeah,
exactly. So I'm gonna give a quick recap of the first movie, like super quick, just in case anyone hasn't seen the first one. We probably should have done this with To All the Boys I Love before, but you know what, that was our first episode, so can't judge us. So basically the whole premise of the Kissing Booth first movie is we have this girl named Elle who's a high school junior. She has a best friend named Lee. They're like absolute besties, whatever, like best friends for life. And they have like all these friendship rules, which I'll get into later, like freaking stupid ass rules, but whatever. They have all these friendship rules that they're like super dedicated to. And Lee has an older brother named Noah, who's like the hottie of the school, who also gets into a lot of fights and like whatever. So and Elle obviously thinks he's like super hot, but like he's off limits because of their rules. So she just kind of whatever, she like goes through her whole life basically in like 30 seconds, which is like I hate those parts because it's literally like she just talks so fast and so many things happen and you're like oh okay. So she goes through her entire life basically, and then basically the first movie is her and Lee set up a kissing booth for their fall fundraiser. And
cool,
and then things happen. Elle and Noah end up kissing at the kissing booth. All hell breaks loose, of course, because that's the end of the world. And it gets
their romance.
Yeah, it gets complicated because they have feelings for each other, but they have to keep it a secret from Lee. Meanwhile, Lee also has a girlfriend. Regular high school stuff. They date secretly, and then Lee finds out. Whatever, because Lee finds out and is like super offended, but then they make up after, so whatever, Noah needs to go off to college because he's a year older, so then she like chases him down and is like, wait, okay, like we can date now. So then
by the way, he's going to Harvard, obviously.
Yeah, so he gets into Harvard, which like, I did not know he was a Harvard type of person.
It's hilarious because he's like so violent, and I'm like, I'm sure he has a bunch of like records in the school.
Like he seems like that kid that just like doesn't do school, like So I was like, okay, he's going to Harvard. I was not aware.
Like, why would they pick Harvard? They could have just been like UCLA, like something basic, normal.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway,
not that UCLA is basic. Sorry to people who go there, but yeah.
I don't think we know anyone that goes there.
Nope.
But anyway, so he like the movie ends off with him like leaving the airport like to go off to college, and Elle is like wondering, oh, like I don't know, like do I have to give him some space? I don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So that's how we end basically everything that happened in the first movie. In like intertwined with all of that, Elle like basically embarrasses herself in front of the school like 5 separate times. She also apparently got like super hot over the summer. She goes on a date with a guy that groped her. It's just it's a mess.
I didn't understand why they were trying to make us feel like okay with the sexual assault here. I was like,
anyways. So second movie, basically Elle starts off by doing her little super quick, fast, speedy recap of what happened. I feel like
this one made more sense. Like in the first one,
it still made me dizzy. I was like, girl, you need to slow down.
In the first one, I was like, oh, I get it. Because in the second one I was like, okay, they're
you need to catch up, but the first one didn't make any sense.
First one I was like, well, I didn't need to know about her mom. You're never gonna mention again, but all right. So
basically her mom like died when she was like 16 or something like that, and her mom was best friends with Lee's mom. That's how they know each other. Pretty much. It's not relevant to the story whatsoever, but anyways, so yeah, Elle catches us up on what's happened since then. So basically she went back to the summer, because I didn't know there was a time period in between the airport and them making up. I thought that was like right after each other, but apparently they had like a bunch of weeks in between that. So they like went to their beach house, like Noah and Lee's family beach house. They spent like a couple of weeks there by themselves, just, you know, doing what couples do, hanging out, whatever. That's honestly the only important thing that happened. And now she's just questioning whether to give Noah his space, or, you know, she doesn't want to be like a clingy girlfriend or whatever. So she's keeping herself busy by hanging out with Lee. She starts a podcast, gets a credit card, and also she applies to UC Berkeley with Lee because it's part of their little friendship contract that they're going to go to the same school. Stupid, if you ask me. Very stupid.
It's so
because they have like a dream to go to UC Berkeley, so they're like, we're gonna go to Berkeley together.
Just want to mention, they totally copied us with the podcast thing. I was like, yo, that's
right. I was like, that's so
actually,
weird.
That's actually too pointed. They clearly did listen. They listen. We mention Wattpad like every 2 seconds. They know
exactly.
us. They know us.
Oh yeah, and if you didn't already know, The Kissing Booth is based on a Wattpad story. I read the Wattpad story, and I actually read the book when it came out. And the movie is nothing like the book. The book was actually not bad. It wasn't the best book I've ever read. I thought the
Wattpad story wasn't that bad.
No, like the story was fine. Like it made sense. But then the movie just, anyways.
I definitely don't remember her going on a date with a sexual assaulter. I don't
No, that was not in the book whatsoever.
Yeah, which is silly.
It was not. Like it made, like their relationship made sense in the book. Anyways, we're getting off topic. So, Elle wants to keep contact with Noah, but she keeps like ignoring his messages for some reason and like deleting them. Super weird.
She talks so cryptically, like
like they have like super like one word like messages and stuff like that. And also this is like off topic, but Elle is like such a typical grab a slice of toast when there's a full breakfast on the table type of person in a movie, and I hate it. Literally, like on 3 separate occasions, you watch her go downstairs, grab like one thing off the table when her dad and her brother are sitting there, and then leave. I'm like, are we doing this again?
That.
So
like,
anyways,
why don't we just make the character make a jam sandwich real quick and then
I don't know. Like, why are they always late? Like, can you not wake up 10 minutes earlier? I don't know. And
I
also
don't understand who's making breakfast for you like this. Like for me, when I come downstairs, it's like
make your own.
Yeah, it's not like if I'm not eating, if there's nothing on, I'm not eating breakfast. That's it.
Exactly. Also, like this is not really that important, but Lee and Noah are like rich, like super rich, and it's never talked about.
For that house,
but like that house, listen. Again, off topic, but I watched like a real estate show on Netflix in like, and they live in Los Angeles, so I know this is accurate, right? And the most expensive house on that real estate show was smaller than this one, and that house was $40 million.
Yeah,
I am not
insane.
What do their parents do? Are they a CEO of like of Amazon? Like I don't understand.
You live in California where it costs like $50,000 for a cardboard box. Like what are you?
No, literally, that house is worth at least $50 million. It's ginormous. I don't understand. Anyways, they never talk about how he's rich though. It's just kind of there. So
he also goes to Harvard, no problem. So I'm like,
yeah. So anyways. Basically, Elle keeps hanging out with Lee and his girlfriend is clearly starting to show signs that she's like annoyed by it because Elle keeps interjecting, I guess, into their relationship. So Noah texts Elle, but she just is not answering him. And then Noah calls her out of class somehow and asks why she's ignoring him.
He says he's her dad, which
is so she's like calls to the office
creepy,
or whatever. Yeah. It's a little weird. And then she's like, why are you ignoring me? And she's like, oh, I just want to give you space. I don't want to be a clingy girlfriend. He's like, no, I want you to be clingy. Keep talking to me. She's like, okay. So then they're fine now. So Lee and Elle are organizing a 2nd annual kissing booth for their little fundraiser. And also, Elle basically only applied to Berkeley because she's just dumb, I guess, for some reason. Who only applies to one school? I don't know.
I don't. That's not normal. Like even no.
Why would you only apply to one school?
I thought in my head, I was like, maybe it's like really expensive in the U.S. to apply because I know it's more expensive. But I was like, that's still stupid though.
No,
right?
It's still stupid. Yeah. So she only applies to Berkeley, but then Noah asked her to apply to a school in Boston so she could go.
Apply to
stay with him.
Boston, yeah.
So she's like, I don't know, what should I do? And yeah, it's again super annoying.
What she should do.
Yeah, it's already super annoying.
Any university that is not the 2 that they told her to go to.
Exactly. But yeah, so basically it's super dumb that they have a friendship rule that said like their friendship rules are way too, what's it called?
I don't
Restrictive.
understand
It sounds
who,
really
when,
creepy.
what, where did this happen? Like, I want to know under what circumstances this was done. Like, was Lee holding a gun to her
I
head?
don't know, because it's
feel
like
that's the
we have
vibe.
to go to the same school. It's like, buddy, what if I
Yeah.
don't want to? Like, are you gonna kill me? I don't understand.
Like
Imagine not like breaking a friendship off because
That's
you
so
don't want to go to
lame.
the same school. Like, that's stupid.
Like I get you can like plan and be like, oh, it'd be so cool if we went to the same uni because they have a program for this and whatever.
yeah,
But it's not like that's it though.
It's
Like,
funny
not
because
end all
in
be
like
all.
America specifically, I've never watched a Canadian teen movie, but anyways,
yeah.
they always talk about the school, but they never talk about the program. Like, what do you want to study? This is your dream school, but like, what are you
Oh
trying
my
to study
gosh,
there?
Monica, you're so right. Literally, the only movie that like kind of addressed that, which was pretty funny, is The Perfect Date, which is not a good movie to me, but they did
Mhm.
address that. They were like he was like, oh, I want to go to Yale, right?
Yeah,
And then she's like, for what? And he's like, I don't care, it's Yale. And then she was like, that's stupid.
right. Like, that's they always talk about. They always talk about like, oh my god, this is my dream school, but it's like, why? What do you want
Yeah.
to study there? That's so
No, she literally was like,
important.
why do you want to go to Yale? And he's like, because Yale is like the hottest girl in school. And she's like, what? Like, what do you want to study?
I think
Which
maybe
is
it's because like in
good.
the US,
Yeah.
I guess maybe there's like prestige that comes with whatever school you went to. I don't know.
Yeah, I definitely think it's like a different, because here you could go to any university.
It doesn't really make a
around
difference.
here,
Like, no
and
one's gonna
it
be like,
wouldn't-
oh my god,
no.
you went to Queens, let's hire you. Like,
Mhm.
no.
Like
it doesn't
people,
care.
yeah, like maybe if you go to University of Waterloo, like they're more renowned for certain programs, but you're
like
not
it depends on
actually
the
gonna-
program. Exactly. Like, if you're like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm gonna study like physics or math, but you're going to like
Yes.
some random school, it's gonna be like, okay, why didn't you go to Waterloo or like U of T
Exactly.
or something? But that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. It's specific programs. But
Yeah.
Anyways.
But even then, it still doesn't, not to the extent of like,
Yeah.
university. Like I know over there, like community college versus like not is like the biggest deal. Like people, look-
yeah.
yeah, I don't know, whatever.
Whatever.
Side
Anyways, side tangent. So basically, Elle doesn't want to have a mature conversation with Lee to tell him that maybe she doesn't want to go to the same school. So of course she starts applying
Mhm.
to the Boston schools without telling him.
Those
so
two, they
meanwhile,
have the worst communications for being
it's
the
terrible.
bestest of
Their
friends.
friendship
They
is just a
live-
mess. It's a mess.
Yeah.
So basically at the school there's this new hot guy named Marco, and of
Mhm.
course Elle embarrasses herself once again by talking about him over the school loudspeaker by accident, talking about how hot he is, whatever,
Mhm.
which is super unrealistic the way she
Oh
was
my gosh,
talking about him.
Wait, hold up. Because I just have to interrupt. You know, I've noticed that me and Monica always have different ships for everything that we like watch or see or whatever.
Okay.
Specifically shows, not usually.
Yeah.
But who were you rooting for? Not that you were like, you know, let's preface
But we
this
haven't
by,
even
like,
got to the part where
Okay,
there's
fine.
somebody to
Go on.
root for. We'll get to that later.
You're right,
when
you're
there's
right,
actually
you're right.
something to root for. Okay, so
Mhm.
we're just meeting Marco now. So Marco is
Yes.
this super like hot dude that shows up to school. Looks like he's 30 years old, but anyways, what's new? What is
his
new?
eyelashes kiss
When
you
will-
from afar. Like,
When will we ever see a high school movie with actual like high school age
I
people?
know.
Probably never. But anyways, he
Mm-mm.
looks super old. So yeah, she makes an absolute fool of herself. Lee also makes an absolute fool of himself trying to stop her. Whatever. The whole school starts going, Marco, and it's a
He was-
mess.
he was literally hitting everything in his way.
No, it was so stupid. It was so like, and I've told you so many times, like slapstick humor is my thing, but I was literally sitting there with a straight face, like, are you freaking kidding me right now? Like, he was just running into everything. I'm
I
like,
just didn't understand what was going on.
why?
It was more like shock. Like I was like, ¿Por qué?
no,
Why?
it was so dumb. Lee was just running into
Oh.
everyone and everything just to get to Elle. Yeah, anyways.
Everything.
So the whole school's like, Marco, and then Marco turns around and like smile. Like, it's that's probably like the worst scene in the whole movie. It's like, it's terrible. It's terrible.
oh, sir.
So yeah, so Elle meets him. He like teases her about whatever. Anyways, to be like, I'm so cool with it. Like, but you embarrassed yourself.
Mhm.
So Noah buys Elle a ticket to Boston, and while he's video calling her, his buddies come in, and then like a hot girl walks in too, and she's like,
Mhm.
who is that? So she like stalks her on social media.
She can't be British, by the way. There's no way.
Also,
That
yeah, she just
sucks.
happens to be British. Well, I think
was
she's
like-
actually British. The actress is British.
No way.
I'm pretty sure she is. Yeah.
That sounds so bad to me. Like I was like,
Yeah, I don't know. She's like this British girl who also looks way too old to be a high school or not
Oh
high
my
school, college
gosh.
freshman. But we're not.
she
wondering.
looked like
We're
she
not
was
thinking
like
about that.
26, and I was like,
Yeah,
what are
literally.
you doing here?
So
I
of
mean, I
course
guess.
she was like, yeah, she stalks her Instagram. Of course she's like a model or whatever.
Mm-hmm. She's gorgeous,
then-
by the way. Good for her.
Yeah. So then also Elle is like struggling because apparently she doesn't have enough money to go to Harvard if she wanted to. Which
Yeah. So
Again, I'm
so
gonna
does
go on
the
a
rest of the
tangent.
population.
I'm gonna go on tangent. I call bullshit on this. You live in like a pretty decent house in Los Angeles, California, and you go to a super preppy private school. Do you want me to think you can't afford to go to, like, at least
I still don't.
Harvard?
I will say I don't think she can afford to go to Harvard without a scholarship, though. I agree with that.
But Harvard, also, like, you can get student loans. Everyone gets student loans.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Harvard
What's the problem?
Is insane, Britt. And she'd have to go, if it's it's definitely out of state, Monica, and that's like way more money.
I guess, yeah. But still, I think if you go to that private school in Los Angeles.
I think they definitely, like, were overplaying how, like, poor she is. I feel like they should have just been like, I agree with what he said. He was like, you should stay. What did he say? He said you should stay in the state. That's what her dad said. Because that makes sense. Out of state.
Oh, of course. Yeah. It makes sense. But like, they were trying to act like she was like, I know, poor, like she had zero money. I was like, okay, calm down. She's definitely not poor. But anyway, so.
And if she can get into like Harvard, I'm sure she can get a little scholarship.
Yeah, of course. So Marco, like, they have this little field day at school, and Marco keeps trying to mess with Elle for some reason or whatever. And oh, look, we have gay background characters. How lovely. Oh yeah. we'll get back to them later.
The kissing booth a heteronormative.
Yeah, because in the last movie, like, they were panning around like the party scene. And it was literally just like straight couple. I'm like, okay, come on now. Like, like, come on. And they're probably like, oh shit, we did that. We got to put in some gay background characters. Yeah. So there's some gay background characters. I didn't know their names until the end anyway. So Lee's girlfriend is clearly jealous of Ellen Lee's friendship or whatever. Rachel, but it also doesn't help that they keep talking about their rules. Like, they're literally all three of them together, and then they're like, oh, but rule number 3. Oh, no, but rule number 21. Oh, but rule number 5. I'm like, shut up.
Lee is the worst boyfriend I've ever seen in my entire life.
He's so terrible.
Like, he made me afraid of female and male friendships. Like, I was like, is this what it is?
Like, he's such a bad friend, or a bad boyfriend and a bad friend. But anyways, they're just like, oh, but rule number 4. Oh, but rule number 31. And the girlfriend's just sitting there like, okay, like, are you gonna tell me what these mean?
Essentially,
it's stupid. So so she gets really annoyed with that. And also, they find out that there's a Dance Revolution competition because I didn't mention this before, but Lee and Rachel, sorry, that's the girlfriend. Lee and Elle are like fanatics of Dance Revolution. I'll talk about that later too when we get into what we did. Like, but yeah, they're like, they love Dance Revolution. They're like the best at it or whatever. And there's a competition, and the winner gets $50,000. So I was like, oh my god, let's do it so I could pay for school. So then, you know, she tells Lee like, hey, I need money because I want to go to school. She doesn't tell him where, of course, but she's like, I need the money. He's like, okay, let's do it. So they ask Marco if he wants to be part of their kissing booth, and he says, oh, if you beat me in a game, I'll do it. So then they pick Dance Revolution, but it turns out he's the one who keeps beating their score. So he's also good at Dance Revolution. This is like, it's so underwhelming. But anyways, like, it's really predictable. Like, the minute I saw that the top score was like someone named MVP, I'm like, okay, it's obviously Marco. But anyways, but then she narrowly beats him. So he's like, okay, I'll do the booth. So
they could have called it the Destroyer, and I would have been like, it's still Marco though.
Yeah, I'm like, I know it's gonna be him. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, and then Lee is also being a bad boyfriend again to Rachel, and she's like super pissed. Rachel also looks like she's 30, by the way. It's just a mess.
Rachel looks like she's wearing a wig. Like, not even like, I just have observed that. Yeah. Like, I was like, she looks like a blonde, and they were like, nope, we want dark hair, and she's like, okay,
all right.
They give her a wig.
So that relationship's falling off the rails. So then Elle, finally it's her trip to Boston. So she goes with Noah, and then he like takes her around the whole city, and then they go out with their friends. Also, like, how are they drinking out? Is the legal age of drinking in Boston 18 or something? Because they're literally at this restaurant and they're drinking wine. I'm like, you're a freshman. I don't understand what's going on.
Oh, no, it's 21 everywhere in the U.S.
That's why I'm so confused. They're literally sitting at this fancy restaurant. Like, the ones adult, like, I think they're really trying to push the whole, like, Noah is like an adult now or whatever. I'm like, he's 18 years old. He's not going to these fancy wine bars.
So like, is he like friends with older people in his school? Because maybe that would explain why that girl's 26, you know?
I have no clue. But they're at this like restaurant, and they're all drinking wine, and it's like super fancy.
I just have to say, by the way, this is, again, there's no way a guy who's going to Harvard is still dating a little high school girl. I just took that in.
Yeah, no.
No.
Every time when you get to like university, and then there's that one person that's like, oh, but my girlfriend, she's still in grade 12. Everyone's like, oh. Yeah.
Good luck that's with about that. To end real soon.
Yeah.
Real
anyway,
quick.
So she goes out with his friends, and then obviously the hot girl shows up. Her name is Chloe, by the way. She shows up, and she's all buddy with Noah, like giving him a little hug and stuff like that. And she like, Noah doesn't even introduce Elle. Like, she just kind of sits there, and then she's like, oh, you must be Elle. And then back at the room, Elle finds an earring under Noah's bed. Dun, dun, dun. So she's like, oh my goodness, and she freaks out and leaves. And then when she gets home, she's like super depressed. And then her dad's like, is it really worth changing all your plans to go to Boston if you don't even know if this relationship is going to last? And she's like, good point, Dad. Very good point. And she's like, oh, okay. So then she confronts Noah about Chloe. And then he's like, no, nothing. Like, I don't know how that got there. Nothing happened. And he just looks like he's lying to me. But that's just me. He looks like
so
he was lying.
Sketchy the entire time. I thought they were gonna reveal, and I was like, I actually would like that. Sorry,
yeah.
spoiler,
Also, this is so stupid, but so she goes on his Instagram, like, because after that conversation, like, to make it up to her or whatever, he like posted a picture of her on Instagram, and he's verified. What the fuck?
What?
He's verified on Instagram.
There's no way he's dating this basic high school girl if he's verified and he goes to Harvard.
But like, what did he do to get verified?
I don't understand.
Monica,
this is it. That's how he has so much money. His parents are famous, bruh. Like,
but why would he be verified? I'm so confused.
His parents are business moguls, and he's like the son. Maybe he's a descendant of Elvis or something, and he is verified.
I don't know, man. Because she just went on Instagram, and I was like, wait, I had to pause it. I'm like, is this dude freaking verified? What did he do? Like, what did this little 18-year-old dude get to be verified on Instagram? Anyways, so then after this conversation, Chloe shows up at Noah's house. You know, she's like, let me in. And it's like, uh-oh. So what's going on there? And then they cut it off. And then Lee, they're practicing for the DDR competition, and Lee injures himself in the fakest injury known to man. He's like, oh, my leg. Oh, I can't do it anymore. So he's just like, why don't you ask Marco to be your partner? So then she's like, do I have to? And then they decide to, she's like, okay, fine. So they're practicing together with like Elle and Marco. Elle also confronts Noah about the earring, but he's like, I don't know how it got there. So and then like 2 minutes later, we find out Lee's injury is fake, and then Elle is totally okay with him lying about the injury, but okay. So she keeps practicing with Marco because he's like, no, I think you can win if you go with Marco. So also Lee, Elle, and Rachel, we're gonna have a group Halloween costume, which is like s'mores. So like Rachel was gonna be a marshmallow, Elle and Lee were gonna be crackers, but then at the last minute, Elle's like, no, like, wait, let's do this, assuming that Lee was gonna tell his girlfriend that we're switching the costume, but
which is the right thing to do.
Yeah, well, of course he didn't do that. So
oh my gosh, he's like a worse boyfriend than he is a friend. Like, I didn't think it would get worse. But.
Yeah, but also before all that happens, Marco and Elle, like, they're practicing and they're getting closer. You know, they're having moments and stuff like that. And also Noah lies to Elle about going to a concert with Chloe. So like, she calls his phone and his friend answers, and he's like, yeah, she went to a concert with Chloe. And then later she's like, who'd you go with? And he's like, oh, just the guys. So he's just straight up lying for some reason.
Sketchy.
Yeah, so they go to the Halloween party, and then Elle slow dances with Marco, and they almost kiss, but like everyone's watching, so she's like, oh no, I can't. And also Rachel shows up as the marshmallow and like screams at Elle in the oh, I think it's also important to mention that Rachel earlier in the movie told Lee, like, you have to tell Elle to like back off a little bit because it's like, but Lee never told her that. So she's like screaming at Elle in the party, being like you need to leave us alone, like you're like, I can't even have time with my boyfriend, blah 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 blah. Because clearly Lee didn't even tell her that they were changing costumes. But anyways, and
Elle was like,
bro, I thought Elle was like, bro, I thought Lee was gonna tell you, like, what the hell. So yeah, and then so now Lee and Rachel are like hanging out without Elle now. So Elle's like all by herself, and then Noah's been hanging out with Chloe a lot, and Elle's still practicing with Marco, blah blah blah. And Elle again stalks Chloe's Instagram and finds out that the earring is actually Chloe's. And then she just like bursts into tears in class, like she starts like freaking crying in class. But anyways,
Throwback to my high school experience. No kidding.
Imagine, like, you literally, no, she just like, it's not even like a tear, like you're tearing up. No, like she was just like fully like, crying. And then there's also this super cringy scene where like she's practicing with Marco and she's like all distracted. No. She's all distracted because of like all this stuff that's going on, and he's like, just let it go. And then like
with the green screen.
Yeah, they start like, this green screen comes up with like all her like memories or whatever in the background, and they're doing this like super dramatic like dance on the Dance Dance Revolution machine, which is what I don't understand. I didn't know, is this a dance competition or is this a Dance Dance Revolution competition? Because like, you don't have to be doing all these routines and shit on the machine. Like, as I don't know, they were doing like some next routine.
No, DDR people be
like, I've watched a DDR like, don't ask me how I ended up watching a DDR competition, but I've watched it, and it's like the whole point is to get a high score, but they were doing some next full routines. I'm like, are they getting style points or something? Like, how does this work?
I'm guessing it has to. They just got to make it more interesting for TV. I don't think
we'll talk about the competition after when that happens. But anyway, so they're doing this super dramatic like scene, and then they have another moment or whatever. And yeah, so they go to the DDR contest after, and it's like super extra. Clearly everyone's doing these huge like routines, and then they do their routine, and they're not even hitting the pedals half the time. Whatever, like I watched it, I'm like, are they even hitting the arrows? Like they
hit it with her
hand at one point,
her genitals at one point too.
Well, it was a mess. They're doing freaking like backflips and shit on the DDR machine. I'm like, this is not how it works.
The weirdest part is they were looking at people, they were watching people compete, and they were like, oh my gosh, I'm so scared. And I was like, and then yeah, y'all are not gonna do.
They start doing backflips and shit. Yes.
Like they're like, I'm so scared, and I was like, yeah, y'all are not gonna do that good. I saw your little routine when they were practicing, and then they just throw this stuff in, and I'm like,
and there's like her in fire. The air? There's like freaking fire coming out of the stage, and the stage is like spinning around. I'm like, bro, I've never seen a DDR competition like this.
I'm not gonna lie though, I did enjoy it. I thought it was
fun. It was fun, but I was like, this is not.
It doesn't make sense, but it was entertaining. I was entertained at that point.
Yeah. So basically they're doing their little thing, and then Noah turns out is in the audience because I think he's supposed to come back for Thanksgiving.
Showing up for my bae a day early.
So he's in the audience, but Elle doesn't know that. And then at the end of their routine, Elle and Marco kiss. Oh my god, in front of everybody. Gasp. Weird. And then Noah like storms out, and Elle sees him, and she's like trying to run after him, and then she can't, and they actually win the competition, so they win, and then she obviously does not care about the fact that she lost that she won $50,000 because her boyfriend is mad. I would be like, okay, wait, pause. I won $50,000.
Yeah, bruh. I'd be like, take my picture.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, my relationship is over anyways.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I could just buy a new one, bitch. Like,
buy a new man's.
Exactly. So now it's Thanksgiving at the Flynn house, and of course this is gonna be a mess because Rachel is there with Lee, who's still mad at Elle. Lee is also mad at Elle because he found her Harvard application, and he's mad at her because so stupid. He's like real mad
I hate
at
you
her
for achieving your dreams.
Trying to apply to Harvard. And then Noah shows up with Chloe. Who invited Chloe? Nobody.
Chloe.
He shows up with Chloe at their house, so clearly this is gonna be a mess. And then like 2 minutes into the dinner, Lee starts beefing Noah because he's like, why would you make Elle apply to Harvard, whatever. Rachel finds out that Lee never talked to Elle about giving them space, so she's like, yo, your friendship is a little too obsessive, bro. You need to stop with these stupid ass rules and like actually have conversations and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then like everyone storms off, and then the parents are just sitting there like, okay.
And yeah.
So then Noah is like clearly mad about the kiss that Elle and Marco had, but he's like talking to Chloe, and he's like, I don't know if it's like worth fixing the relationship because like, you know, the only reason I lied is to avoid this whole situation, but it seems like I'm still in the situation anyways, whatever. So he's like, I don't know if I like Elle. Whatever. Now it's homecoming. Lee gets homecoming king, and then finally it's the carnival. I don't know how many freaking months have passed by, but now it's the carnival with the kissing booth. And then, as in the first movie, this is not a kissing booth. It's just like a kissing stage with like a crowd. This is not like a kissing booth is supposed to be a booth where somebody stands behind it, but this is like a whole stage and everyone's watching and cheering, and I would not do that. It's super awkward. That's like one of the problems I had with the first movie, where it was like, this is not even a booth. This is just, and this was not in the book either. I read the book. This is not what it's supposed to look like. But anyways, so there's a kissing booth. There's like 5 different people that are like doing the kissing. I don't know who is who, whatever. And then Lee and Rachel kiss and make up because the power of kissing obviously can fix all relationship problems.
Power of hormones.
Yeah, and then the gay side characters show up again where they're back, and they decide to come out to the whole school because
they made it so dramatic.
It was so dramatic. I mean, we didn't even know their names. I'm like, what's the point?
It was like, ooh, Love Simon, that made money. Let's just throw it in.
Let's just throw it in there. Yeah, so the one dude is like about to kiss this girl, and he's like, I'm sorry, I can't. And then he goes up to the guy and like kisses him.
He's like,
women
are disgusting. I must come out to the school.
Like in front of the whole school. So I'm like, that's unrealistic. But anyways, and then everyone's like cheering for him, blah blah blah. And then what's her name, Elle, is like running the kissing booth for some reason for a minute, and then Marco comes up and is like trying to talk to her. He's like, you know, we have something, like we have a connection, whatever. And she's like, you know, like there's an attraction, but like, I'm sorry, I love Noah. So then she like rushes to the airport to find Noah, who was like flying back to Harvard with Chloe, and she finds Chloe, and Chloe's like, no, he went to go find you. So
he's in love with you.
Yeah, like he's in love with you. And then she's like does the little Debbie Ryan like put her hair behind her ear and look up kind of face to her.
Ew,
it was really
with
super
the
weird.
lip bite. What?
Yeah,
He
she's
likes
like,
me?
oh, okay. And then she like runs, and then Noah texts her like, meet me at the place, and then they go to the little greenhouse like shelter thing where they kissed in the first movie, and then they make up because the power of kissing. And then
Also, can we talk about how they live in California? You can't just be driving to places so easily like that.
no,
Like, that would
everywhere
probably-
takes like 3 hours apparently.
Yeah. So
But-
it's like, oh, let's go to the Hollywood sign, but also we could go to the greenhouse, but also we could go here. And I'm like, shut up.
like this is the whole day you're talking about.
Yes.
So then they make up, and then now it's Elle's graduation, and she finds out, like, she tells her friends that she got waitlisted for Harvard and Berkeley.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's super weird. Like, it's intercutting between this scene and like another scene where she's like looking at the 2 envelopes in front of her. But anyways, and then Marco's like on the other side of the parking lot, like staring at her, and then this dude's like, she's not worth bro. And then he's like, yeah, she is. So like Marco's like in love with Elle or something like that. And then later we find out that actually Elle was accepted to both Harvard
Yes.
and Berkeley.
But
So
also,
like,
can we talk about how she's like, oh, I was waitlisted for both? She also said she applied to like Boston University, Boston.
yeah,
blah,
like
blah,
what
blah.
happened
So
to
I was
all of that?
Did Noah just be like, nah, Harvard or bust? Like, it's like, honey boo boo,
don't
nobody
get it.
gets into Harvard. except
I
for
don't
Elle,
get it. I don't
apparently.
get it. But yeah, I was just confused because like you saw the one scene of her sitting in front of the 2 envelopes, like staring at them, and then it cut to the scene, the graduation scene, where she's like, I got waitlisted, and then it cut back to the scene where she's staring at the envelopes and she opens them,
Yeah.
and it says she was accepted to both. So I don't know if she lied to them.
No, she
If
did
just
lie.
wasn't Sure.
That was
Oh,
the
she
thing.
did lie. Okay, yeah. So
that's
she
the
lied
whole
to her
thing.
friends, basically saying she was waitlisted, but she got
Mhm.
accepted to both. So she's sitting there like, oh
Yeah.
shit, and then it's like,
But
done.
that's what I'm saying. She lied and she said she got waitlisted. I'm like, but what are you gonna say? You got waitlisted for everything that you've.
That's what
applied to?
I don't know. I don't know. She only had 2 envelopes.
This guy must be like, damn, my girlfriend's dumb.
like shit, man. So yeah, basically that's the end of the movie. She's just like,
Yeah.
oh shit, I got accepted to both. What do I do now? And that's the end.
I don't. Okay, but I'm confused. What's the difference between her getting waitlisted for both and then getting accepted for both and having
could
to
not
choose?
tell you. I could not tell you. It's just I couldn't tell you.
Okay.
Maybe it gives her more time to decide, because then like she
I
can always
guess.
say, oh, I didn't get into Berkeley, but I got into Harvard.
Oh,
So I have
true.
to
Like
go to
she doesn't
Harvard.
have to like break someone's heart
I
or
guess,
whatever.
yeah, I guess,
Even though it's
guess.
called communication.
I don't understand.
Crazy.
Nobody in this movie can have a communication. But anyways,
No.
so that's the recap. As usual, we're gonna get into things we liked and things we didn't
Yes.
like about the movie. And if we want to like extend that to the first movie too, you can, because honestly, these
Yes.
felt like the exact same movie. Like they're blending together in my mind right now.
I'm gonna
Um,
say
you
straight
can start.
out from the gate, I like this movie better than the first one. Definitely.
Me too.
Like not.
It
even.
has its low points, but it's definitely
Yes.
better.
But it's definitely more entertaining. The stakes are actually like real to me. Like the other one, I was like, okay, just tell Lee, who cares? Like, what's he gonna
Like
do?
yeah,
punch you?
literally.
And except, and
Well,
he
he
acted like he
cried.
was. Yeah,
He
he cried.
cried.
Like they acted like it was something super dramatic, but it was like. Also, in the first one, they way too many times they implied that Noah was some violent, like crazy guy.
And then the
And
minute
that-
he falls in love with Elle, all of a sudden he's like a Harvard school boy.
But also the fact that Lee, I also just want to point out how terrible and toxic Lee and Noah's relationship is, because one, Lee is like, I will not allow my best friend to even be near him. So he clearly thinks his brother is scum. Second, you know that scene where Elle like gets hurt and he's like, did you hit her? What?
I was
Why
like,
would you assume
why the hell
that?
would he do that?
And I'm like, bruh, do you know how violent your brother has to be for you to just be like, yeah, he would
Like,
hit a
wasn't
woman?
the
Like,
whole issue that Noah was like telling boys not to hang out with Elle because he wanted to protect
Yes.
her? Like, where did he get the idea that Noah would hit her? Like, it doesn't make sense.
bruh, but that's what I'm saying. I'm like, yo, man, like, what is Noah doing at home under the lights? That
Oh my
Lee is
God.
like,
wait,
bruh.
so is this something you like in the movie? Or
No,
is
it's
this,
not. Sorry, I'm just ranting.
Okay, yeah,
no,
yeah, no, I'm just wondering.
I'm saying how bad the first one was to me, and then how this is
in
better.
general, like me and Anne did not like the first movie. It
No,
was just very
I thought
bad.
it was.
It was terrible.
But in here, they made him more like endearing. Like I actually didn't. In the first one, I didn't like him like at all.
they made
Like, he
Noah
was-
more endearing in the
Yeah,
second one.
I think
I
so.
did not like Noah in the second one.
I
He
didn't like
pissed me off.
Noah. I actually still don't like Noah. I think she
No,
should be
I
with
don't like
Marco.
Noah
I'm just
either.
gonna say that for virtue.
Yeah.
That's what I'm gonna say. The part that I liked is Marco. I think that's why I like
loved
the movie.
Marco.
Yo, Marco,
good.
sing me.
He's
bailar.
He's really hot. He looks old, but like I can look past that.
He's dance zaddy, and she needs to get with
No, literally, he's so cute. Like I was blushing. Like,
lashes.
see what happens
What
when you
are
put
you
someone
wearing?
who's not white in a movie? Like, come
Yeah.
on, come on.
Like it switches it up. It makes me. I loved it.
Anyways,
And he was like, he just had
a little spice to him, you know.
He was
He just did.
he was just so much better though. Like I loved their
No, he
conversation where he was like, you don't need to like you don't need to hold on to someone tight. You just need to like let them know that you're there to stay or whatever.
Yeah,
that thing
like
was.
he was giving some good advice.
Yo,
like,
I was like,
I liked
I was
him.
like, baby boy, I guess I have to do this too.
Like, girl, you leaving him for the meathead? Like, seriously? Oh,
I'm like, him and his Chloe mess. Like I was
did you
convinced
see
he
his
was cheating.
friends in Harvard? Noah's friends. They were talking about some next like political
Monica.
shit.
Monica, Noah's hand was on Chloe's ass. When they were hugging, his
Like,
hand
it was
was
just
on her butt.
Oh my god, it's a mess. It's a mess.
I was like, excuse me,
girl,
that
you
was
need to
way
let
too intimate.
let him go. Like, just let him be with Chloe because clearly that's what he wants.
Oh man, let
Marco,
him
however,
go.
is there and he's like I thought, okay,
Oh.
maybe Marco didn't really like her that much, but at the end he's like, nah, she is worth it. And I was like, ooh, okay.
I was like, yes, please, sir.
But anyways,
it.
yeah, I liked Marco.
this
I
is my
wish she
thing.
would have stayed with him.
I think she should have been with Marco. I also think Noah should have been with Chloe. I was like, just be with her. Like,
clearly you want to be with her, so just go.
yeah.
Like, bro, no one's
I was like,
stopping you.
she's way like Ella's not even that cool. Point blank period.
I was gonna get into this when we got into things we didn't like, but
Yeah, sorry. I'm just glossing over. Sorry. Let's me
No, it's
concentrate
fine.
on things I liked. Okay.
Okay.
I didn't. This is strange, but I thought Rachel was a good actress. That's all I could think. She cried a lot, so I was like,
guess
yeah,
she
yeah.
was just kind of like whining the entire movie, but like
Yeah, she
rightfully
was.
so. She had every
Yeah,
right to whine, but like her
bruh.
character was just her whining about.
Yeah, just
their
her
friendship.
whining. I guess when people whine, I'm like, oh, good acting.
That's
That's for me.
But yeah.
I like that. What's her face didn't get naked 3 times.
I was gonna
because
say
that's
I
what-
like this movie better because it wasn't. They didn't just rely on her embarrassing herself in front of everybody. Only
Yes.
once. So I was like,
only
okay.
once, and that one was okay. I was like,
Yeah, because in the first movie she embarrassed herself like 7 times. I'm pretty sure.
yes, and I'm like, for
Stupid.
what?
Stupid.
You know why I like this movie? Because Noah wasn't in it so much. He was
Maybe
just
that's
hanging out
what
with-
it is.
He was hanging out
Maybe
with
that's what
Chloe,
it
and
is.
Chloe. So I swear they were hinting that Chloe and him were a ting, because there's literally times where he was like, "Yeah, I don't know about Elle," and then Chloe would be like looking at him with a look, and I'm like, "So you're in love?"
And then at the end, she's like, "I'm the only one who's immune to Noah Flynn's charm," and I'm like, "Shut up, girl!" Like,
no, but she said that, and then he was like, "Yeah," and then they panned back to her, and she was looking at him. So I was like, "I swear, you guys are in love." Like,
yeah,
just
no,
do it.
I don't even like her. Like, I don't like him or her as characters. They're just annoying
I just
to me.
think that they're the right height for each other, and that's.
I was gonna get into that when we got into things we didn't like. Anyways, I'll get into that. But yeah, anything else that you like?
It was just, even though clearly there was queer baiting, or is it whatever tokenism, I still didn't hate it. Like I was like, I guess.
It's the bare minimum. So I mean,
it was the bare minimum, but I didn't hate
you'll get,
it.
Like you'll get
I didn't
one
think it was-
applause.
It wasn't. You get like 1 star because it wasn't trash representation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It wasn't like negative, which is sad that that's the
That's
criteria.
true. That's just sad
But
that the bar is so
yeah,
low.
but it was like there. So
Yeah.
that's it. That's all I'm gonna say. Second movie's just
Yeah.
better than the first. That's all I have to say.
it was less terrible than the first. I think
Yeah.
that's what I'm gonna say.
Yes.
But anyways, things I didn't like. This is like can go for the whole series, but basically, I don't like Elle as a character at all.
Oh, she tried.
I'm sorry, I just don't like her. She's
Sorry.
very unlikable, annoying, unrealistic as a character too. Like the things they make her do. Like in the first movie, she gets drunk and then gets on a table and starts like stripping. And then nobody
For
tries
what?
to stop her. Like, you mean to tell me nobody in the school is like, girl, like, okay, let me help you, whatever. No, everyone just starts filming her and recording it. Like, I don't buy it.
And also, they ended up putting essentially child pornography on their school. You know, the end of school thing.
Yeah, the prom or whatever it was called. Yep. It's just a mess. Also, the other time where she's like in the boys' change room, she finds out she accidentally went to the boys' change room, starts stripping again. For some reason, I'm like, why? Why? What are you gaining from this?
And then she was like, I'm going to dance around. Who in their right mind? Who?
It's just not
You're
realistic.
16. You're insecure about your body. Stop lying. Okay?
Like, literally. And then also, like, the thing I really hated, especially about the first movie, is like the dude groped her.
Oh my
and then
gosh.
just because he went into the class later and like wore the same skirt, which is like totally not an apology, first of all.
No.
That does not change the fact that you groped her, because
you're
everyone
wrong,
looks at you
Monica.
doing it.
He said,
Everyone looks at
he
you
said,
doing
I'm
it.
sorry through a paper before asking her out. How dare you? He clearly
Oh my God.
apologized.
He literally like was like, okay, maybe I'm gonna go into the class wearing the same skirt, but like everyone just looked at him and went like, yeah, man, like that's so funny. Like, how is that changing the fact that you like sexually assaulted her. I don't understand.
I don't understand why they would think like let's redeem a sexual assaulter.
I don't know.
Like,
Yeah, like I'm saying, I don't know what the goal was there for her to go on a date with him after. Be like, oh, but you know, maybe I'll go on a date with you. No,
like, not that this is ever okay, but like if you're like, oh, there's 7 and he taps her butt. And then, you know, we forgive him later. Okay, because he was 7.
Like,
this is 16, 15. He understands lady bumps.
Yeah,
I don't understand.
That was actually like stupid. I don't know whose idea that was to put that in there, but
and it wasn't even in the story. Like I don't understand.
No,
like, this,
it didn't even do anything to the story.
Like this is something. If they had told me like, yo, this was in the Wattpad story, I'd be like, well, yeah, I understand, because you know sometimes 12-year-old girls don't know what.
But it was definitely not. I can tell you that.
So it's like, why would you add this in?
No, I don't know.
As adults, you were like, this is the right thing to do.
So yeah. Anyways, another thing, of course, I've already mentioned, Lee and Elle's friendship pisses me off so much. You are grown. Why are you doing all these little rules? Rule number 47. You cannot go to the bathroom without telling me first. Like, bro, like, stop it. Live your own freaking lives. Oh my goodness, it's so annoying. Like, rule number 18. You have to go to the same school as your bestie. Like, how old are you? Are you 4? Like,
Monica, literally, I forgot to mention. He was like, he at the point, you know, when they talk to each other, when she's like, hey, I want to go to Harvard, and he's like, hey, like, sorry I didn't tell, whatever, the communication part. He was like,
they don't talk to each other.
He's like, I didn't tell Rachel because I didn't want to, like, I do want to hang out with you every day. And I'm like, so don't get back together with Rachel then. Like, clearly you're not meant to, you know. This is my theory.
And the conversation they were having at the Halloween party where she's like, well, what would you do if I didn't like Rachel? And he's like, well, I'd break up with her. I'm like, that's literally the worst thing you could say.
Bruh, this is my theory, bruh. I literally, and this is a hot take, still, Lee is still an a-hole, nothing, obviously. But I just don't think he likes Rachel that much. I don't think so.
I think he's just settling for whoever. Like,
exactly.
A girl likes him.
Any guy would be like, yeah, I'm gonna dump my girl for my friend because she said so. No. If he wasn't, like, if
he wasn't in love with her.
And also he be forgetting to call her, to show up. Like, he doesn't like her. He doesn't.
No, he doesn't.
Because otherwise he literally said, no, I want to spend every day with you, Elle. Like, that's, to me, is a sign that you like your friend better than your girlfriend. And that's clearly, like, I'm not into my girlfriend that much.
He needs to get his shit together because he's annoying. I just honestly, most of the characters in this movie annoy me.
Up.
Like, Lee annoys me for some reasons, Elle annoys me for some reasons, and then Noah annoys me for some reasons. He's just kind of like, wipe that look off your face. Like, he just has like the weirdest look on his face all the time. I don't like it. I don't think she should have been with him.
It's so wild to me that he's Zendaya's boyfriend. Like, I'm just like,
oh yeah, I forgot.
I'm like, Zendaya is like my queen,
he's from,
and then I'm like,
Euphoria, yeah.
And I'm like, this is the guy. Like, I haven't watched Euphoria yet. Sorry,
he was pretty good in Euphoria.
I figured. So I'm like, okay, I'm sure if I watched it, I would like give him his credit. But to see him in Kissing Booth, I'm like, this is
he's like, he looks really different in Euphoria. Honestly, I didn't recognize him at first until I looked on the Wikipedia page, and I'm like, wait, that's the same person. And then I'm like, okay,
when he cuts his hair, it's a whole other
because his hair is
a
like
whole
shorter.
other ball game.
He looks a little like, I don't know, his face looks a little slimmer. I don't know why, but it just does.
But anyway, that's just a thing.
Yeah, Noah as a character pisses me off. He just stop. You're annoying.
I don't like him.
So yeah, the only character I like is Marco. Give me a Marco movie. Give it to me now.
Him back. You know how much I like him that I look past him singing in the guitar. Whenever someone sings,
but he was good.
I know, but I always think it's sketchy. Like, I'm like, why are you singing? Like, I'm always like, what is your ulterior motive? Are you gonna give me your business card next and be like, I have demos?
But he was good. Like, he was singing, and I was like, okay. Get a boy that can sing.
And then he started singing in Spanish, and I was like, Te amo, Marco. I can't.
He's really, that's what I'm saying. I'm fine with get rid of everyone except for Marco. I want to see Marco what he's up to. Even though he does not look like he belongs, like he's a high schooler, but you know what?
No, he doesn't.
Nobody else.
It was
does,
so wild though. It was crazy because Elle or Joey King is so short, right?
Oh, I forgot about this one. I hate how short she is. Like, no offense, but like, she's like 5'1".
I know, offense taken because I'm 5'1". Yeah.
And then he's like 6'4". Like, it just doesn't look
crazy.
Right. It doesn't.
It looks crazy.
No, but you know what's crazy to me? And you see her, and then you don't even see Noah's like neck. It's like just his chest down.
His back.
Like, that's not right. That's not right.
No, it's hilarious to me because like Marco is next to Elle the whole time, and what's his face? Yeah. The other one, Lee. And I'm like, yo, Marco's tall. And then Marco and Noah meet up, and I'm like, whoa, Marco, what? Because Jacob Elordi's like 6'4", so he's like,
that's what I'm saying. She's like 5'1" and he's like 6'4", and
Yes.
it just looks wrong. I'm sorry. I'm tall, so like literally it irks my soul when I see like super short, like tiny girls with like 6'5" dudes. Like it just pisses me off because I'm like, that's a child. Like how do you not look at someone that small and think child? Like
Monica, you're hurting me. Okay, what if I get a man and he's tall? What are we gonna do then? Are you gonna be like you're dating a child? Just say that.
No, it's not. I'm not saying this. I'm not saying this to like bash on the girl. I say this to bash on the guy. Because I'm like, if you're that tall and you want to date a girl that's like half your size, I'm gonna have some questions. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna have a couple questions.
They're probably just gonna say we were in love.
Like that's what I'm saying. Because I'm like, how do you like? This is just my personal opinion. Please don't like. If you're a short girl and you're dating a tall guy, good for you. Like I wish I was you. But anyways, like I'm just saying, how do you look at someone that's like tiny compared to you? Mm-hmm. Like clearly you must like that, and I don't like to think about it. The fact that you like small
I think
girls,
it's just not that. I don't think that's the weird part. I just think it's unpractical.
And it's also unpractical.
As a short girl, I can say it's just too much.
But you're not that short though. You're not like tiny.
I'm like 5'1", 5'2".
You're definitely taller than that.
No, that I'd actually
go measure yourself, and I think
go
you're
to
not
the doctor. But I'm not that.
Like
I'm not that
5'4".
short.
I think you're like at least 5'4".
No.
Yeah.
I'm under average. No, for sure. I can
okay,
give you
whatever.
That
Anyways, point is,
but,
I didn't like, especially like, okay, just for like movie purposes. This is like my personal opinion about life, but in the movie, it also does not look right because when they're walking next to each other and like you have to just show L, like you don't even see half of freaking Noah's body, and I'm like, it just looks stupid.
No,
and then when they have to kiss, he has to like bend in half, and I'm like, it doesn't look cute.
There's a reason that actors are usually short, because it's like you just want them to kind of be at the same
hire
height.
a tall actress. Like this is the perfect opportunity.
Yeah,
you have a 6'4"
also I don't get it
male, and you can't hire like a 5'10" girl. Where's tall girl? Where's Miss Tall Girl? Get her here.
Also, I was about to mention that in Tall Girl, I didn't notice that Jodie was so much taller than her short boyfriend, and he was tiny too. Mm-hmm. Like, I didn't see the stark, like, you could have done some camera stuff to help that out.
Oh my god, that's so
because
annoying.
her friend was shorter than her too, and the camera stuff wasn't that awkward. I don't know, they were weird.
I don't know. Anyways, it pissed me off. I couldn't stop thinking about it during the whole movie. I'm like, this girl is like half his size. I don't like. I think
it exaggerates it for sure, because again, going back to Zendaya's 5'11", and next to Jacob, she's at his shoulders. Like that's how tall.
That's what I'm saying. And like tall couples are hot. Like I don't know what else to tell you. Like when you see a tall
Monica's
girl
basically
with a tall guy,
calling for all the tall mans who are listening to, get
your
DM
priorities
her.
straight.
Yeah,
get your priorities straight. Yeah, listen, like,
and all the other ones come to me. I guess
because like think about it. Why do all the guys that are like super tall happen to only like go for like the super short girls? What is like what's going on there? What's happening?
I think the short girls are the actual. Speaking for the short community, on behalf of the short community, I think the short girls are the ones.
I think they're
going
both
after
blamed. I think they're both
because they're like, yo, I need my offspring to be,
I think it's more of like a kink thing. I think it's more
really.
Of like I want to climb you like a tree kind of thing. Because that's what she said in the movie too. She's like, I'm gonna use me as my own personal jungle gym. I was
that was definitely from a book. That's
I was like,
Wattpad
I literally got nauseous when I heard that. I was
that's
like, don't put that
line
in this movie.
If I've ever heard one. That's what kids like.
That's what I'm saying. I think it's a kink.
I
think it's a kink thing both ways. Like I think the girl likes the super large man, I guess, and then
I think anyone likes a large man. Usually, I can't.
I mean, I don't. But like
really.
Whatever. Like large, like I wouldn't date if like for example I'm 5'10". If a guy's like 7 feet tall, I'd be like, yo, whoa, like that's too much. Like maybe it's just me, but like I don't mind people that are like around my height. You know?
Yeah, but I guess if you're short, Monica, then you have a guy
who's gonna go for the short guys. You like that's that you are. Like they're for you. You know what I mean? 5'1". If you're
they're trying to make sure
5'8",
they're trying to make sure their offspring.
Taller.
Bro, they're trying to make the offspring.
I don't think I don't think these high schoolers are thinking of their offspring. I think
I 100% think that's what it is. No, I think
it's like a tangent. That's
it's a tangent. No, I think they think because the average men are on average taller than women. So if you have a guy around your height as a short girl, That would
But it
be
doesn't
strange.
have to be around
I
that.
agree
Like,
that
imagine
it should be like,
5'1".
yeah,
Imagine
yeah.
being 5'1" and you dating a guy that's 5'9". Like that's like a whole 7-inch difference.
No,
that's
that's
a lot.
normal.
That's a lot.
That's
And, like,
the normal
who's gonna go for
thing
the
you should
5'8",
have.
5'9" guys? Like, you know what I mean? Like that they need love.
They
And
get the
short
love.
Girls are not giving it to them.
They get the love. It's the 5'7" and down that really get screwed over, and I'm sorry to them, but
oh yeah, exactly. But even then, if you're
5'7".
5'1", you go for a guy that's 5'6", that's still taller than you.
Yeah.
So
no, I
anyways, this is a
I
rant.
just
I'm
feel
sorry. I
there's
feel
a
very
rant
strongly about this subject as
on
a tall girl.
a
myself.
rant. Tall girl versus short girl. Short girl movie coming out soon. No, I'm kidding.
Every movie is a short girl movie. Watch The
true.
Kissing Booth. That's the short girl movie.
That's true. That's actually you're right. You're right. You're right.
Anyways,
no.
so I guess it's time to give the movie a grade.
Yes, I think we should grade the first movie and then the second movie so that we
for
can,
like little comparison sakes.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I'll go first, I guess. So I would give the first movie like a C. You know, if you asked me the first time I watched it, I probably would have given like a D- or something. But like actually like watching the whole thing, like it was not enjoyable, but it wasn't like terrible. Like it wasn't the worst movie I've ever seen in my life, but it just wasn't good either. So I'm gonna give it like a C, like around that range. Like it's just not like the acting and the plot is just not great. Yeah. Anyways, that's me. And then the second one, I'd give it like a C plus.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a C plus.
I think we have the exact same grade again.
Slightly better, but also not very enjoyable.
I would have, first glance, like when I first watched the movie, I would have given Kissing Booth D plus because I had to watch it in 2 parts. I usually always finish movies, but if I have to watch them in parts, that means I didn't like it.
I definitely I had to trudge through that movie. Like I was like, okay, is this over yet?
Yeah, I give it a D plus. The other movie, I would give it a C plus. I think. If she had ended up with Marco, they could have gotten a B minus.
Oh, if she had ended up with Marco, that would have been juicy. Like, it could have gone a B minus. It could have.
Because I would be like, wow, they're taking risks, first of all, by changing it up. I wish people would take more risks. Because this is what happens in real life. People don't end up with the first person that they have more history with or whatever. Like, you know, switch it up, baby. Switch it up.
Try something new, you know? Like, he's at college. Like, you know, you might as well take a chance, you know?
Yeah, Marco, he don't have no plans. He's ready for you, baby.
Exactly. I did like
Take him. I love it.
Anyway, so yeah, that's pretty much it.
No, actually, that was the only thing I didn't like about Marco. I'm not gonna lie. Sorry, I just said
what? The fact that he had no plans.
Yeah, I was like, what? He's like, I don't have plans. I don't make plans. I hate guys who say that.
Wait, he said that? I don't remember.
Yeah, they were on Ferris.
Oh, I don't like that.
I don't have
no
plans.
I hate people like that.
Nope. No.
Hopefully he figures it out so that, you know, he can slide in.
Oh my gosh, we should definitely do an episode of like red flags.
I did
movie.
I did an episode. We should get like Joe or Gabby on the show to do that.
Oh my gosh,
I did an
that'd be so
episode
fun.
of Joe and Gabby's podcast, The Midnight Snacks, and we talked about red flags on that episode. So
oh my gosh, that would be so fun. We could be like red flags and like rom-com characters or something, or just like
or like in movies. So like if you're watching a movie
movies.
and like in the first 10 minutes if this happens, then like it's probably gonna be a bad movie. Why not?
Yeah.
We'll do
that would be fun. Yeah.
We just spoiled our one of our ideas.
I know.
So
damn it.
Stay tuned. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it for a review of The Kissing Booth 2 and 1, pretty much.
Yeah.
So we hope you liked it. As usual, subscribe to the podcast, leave us a review, share it with your friends, follow us on Instagram at flickchickspod, and we'll catch you next week for a general episode.
It'll be fun.
Bye.